That's what he said.
I never mentioned
Oh shoot,
watermelon.
are we
Dana,
serious
can I?
right now? This is nuts. I'm muting myself. Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna go on. Dana, can I ask you a question? When the Africans were supposedly bought over on those boats, can I just ask you a question? What did they drink?
Dana.
I'm not. You're not going to bait me into this. But go
What they
ahead.
drink?
Make your point. Go ahead and make your point. I'm listening to what you're saying, but I'm not going to answer that. Go ahead.
The reason why I asked you this question is because that question is really not ever asked. I think that the problem with Black people in history is that we don't critically think about historical accounts. Other people really do. You have to ask yourself, why are these people constantly lying to you, possibly, and telling you that hundreds of Africans were in these boats? Well, if you think about logistics, what did all these people eat on a daily basis? It takes
Food.
months to get to the New World. What did they drink? They didn't drink the, ma'am. They drink what water?
They were assets. You think they didn't want to keep their assets alive? This was money. This was about
Dana,
money.
what did they drink?
Pee. Oh, what are you getting at? Is that what they drank?
I don't know.
He's not getting
Just
at
think,
anything. Sis.
what did hundreds of
guessing.
these people drink?
He's saying that the story that they created, the narrative that they created. Now, I'm not big on history. I don't really care on that part of side of history much. I'm not into it. But with all the people stacked on the boats and things like that, supposedly they were drinking each other's piss because I thought they were laying there. Now, what he's saying is the fact that because it takes so long to travel, how are all these people? How is it that narrative and all these people are still surviving to make it that far of a travel, surviving off of just piss? So I get where he's saying in regards to,
but more importantly, he's just throwing stuff out there for what? Because you have opinions, right?
A lot of them died, though. It's a known fact. A lot of them died. A lot of them
What did the Africans drink? You think they just drank piss for 7 to 8 weeks at sea?
So what's your point? Are you saying that it didn't happen? Like, what's your point?
I am saying that everything needs to be studied and everything needs to be looked at through the lens of a critical mind.
Did you study it?
They didn't drink. I did. They did. Okay. It has everything to do with the whole ancestor thing. Everything about the past may not be what it really was. All I'm saying is that you got to start asking questions. They didn't drink the salt water. What did they eat at sea? Nobody ever talks about that. What did they really eat? That's a good question. What did they eat?
Are we serious right now? Are we really doing this?
What did they eat?
Am I in the fucking Twilight Zone? This is crazy.
Ma'am, what did they eat?
This is Twilight Zone tonight, Dana. It is.
Are you saying that we just need to study more overall as a people?
Yes, that's all I was saying. Yes, thank you, ma'am.
All right. I kind of agree with you.
I just don't believe that blacks were just so downtrodden and oppressed. I just don't believe that. I don't think that our ancestors were getting punked out like that. I'm sorry. I
have a question for you, Kara, because you did the research. You said you did the research.
I have a degree in African studies. I have a underwater basket weaving degree. Yes.
So what did your research tell you? Did it not happen or it did happen?
The way that I have concluded, and I wrote papers on this, is that slavery has been largely over-exaggerated.
But did it happen?
Yes, there was slavery because slavery has always been a part of human history. There is slavery going on right now. There is oppression going on right now.
Were there Africans that were taken from Africa and brought here to the United States or at the New Land?
I believe, listen, now this is what I believe. I believe that a lot of the Africans voluntarily came to the New World. Now, I'm going to tell you why. Hear me out for a minute. Just hear me out. The Negroes in Africa were tribalistic. Even to this day, they're tribalistic. They have all these languages. Even in Nigeria, it's hundreds of different languages. They never got along. Somebody came along, in my opinion, and said, hey, there is better opportunity in the New World. This New World has resources, it has open land, etc. You won't have to be around your neighbors. Just like how blacks are now. Black people don't like living around each other now.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is it possible that the Africans, hear me out, that large numbers
I'm
of
laughing
Africans,
because I live in Baltimore, but go ahead.
is it possible that large numbers of Africans willingly came to the New World? That's all I'm saying.
Okay, that's fine. So that's fine. So they willingly came over on a ship. Okay, fine. Let's follow.
I didn't say that. I said I'm just asking a question. But go ahead.
I'm asking about your research that you found out. But anyway, I just want a straight answer from your research that you did, because you've done the research. You're educated. You've done the work, and from the research and the work that you have done, you have discovered, because you read books and more books than we did. And some of them voluntarily came over. So when they came over here, they got tricked, like, gotcha, fool. And then they were made into slaves, or were they like, here you go. We didn't lie to you. Here is a Shangri-La, and here's your new land.
Can I answer your question?
Please.
Just like how today Black people love working for white people, I believe that Black people were the same hundreds of years ago. By nature, they love working for whitey. The white men had opportunities for them. And you know how? How many stories did you hear growing up that the slaves bought themselves out of slavery? Well, how can you buy yourself out of slavery if you're a slave, right? And not getting paid? Is it just logical to assume that some slaves, in fact, were getting paid? Is it logical to assume that, hey, maybe just like today, when people say I'm working hard for the boss man, I'm working hard, they working me like a slave. Is it possible that the slaves or the people back then were saying the same thing, and just through a game of telephone, people interpreted it as, oh man, that's a slave? I don't know, man. I have no idea. I was only born in 1984. I have no idea. But what I do know is patterns right now. And what I can tell you is Black people now love whitey and love working for white people. They love everything white. So is it logical to assume that the dumb Africans who were living in the Stone Age were the same way? That's all I'm saying.
And it's
This
funny
like,
that you
I talk about this all the time.
15 minutes ago, you sat there and said the white people have such a rich, wonderful history, and they invented all of these things. So you kind of subscribe to that whole whitey is right.
You do. You're on it right now. You're on the computer right now. Who do you think ushered in the computer age? Niggas, it was white. How do you think your Wi-Fi works? You ain't driving a donkey, ma'am. Stop.
So he's saying we. Because he's saying, so you saying we.
This white man is the reason why you're able to drive your car.
All right. Is there another question?
Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and we out.